Hello, MavMind Collective, and welcome to another episode of the Hypnosales Show. Today we're going to be talking about the INCB Method. So I'm always excited to talk about the INCB Method because it's a method I came up with many years ago. It's an acronym actually that remind me of what to say in those situations where I need to persuade my customer or my prospect. And typically the reason why I want to persuade them is, at least in my experience, is whenever they are proposing for me to perform a task, or they have a plan they want to execute on, they want me to help them with because they're buying my product or service, and what they're proposing maybe is going to be too expensive or take too long or be too complex, and it's just, I have a better way. I know a better way. I know a faster way. I know something that's going to be less expensive, less complex in the beginning, for example, as like phase one or something like that. And I want to persuade them to be thinking about this other and consider this other idea, this other approach and this other plan versus what they're proposing, which is too long, too expensive, too complex, and too many resources or something like that. Cost too much. So but I don't want to offend them. I want them to negotiate with me, and I want them to realize maybe it could be a better way to do it. And so that's what I came up with INCB. The reason I want them to go down a path of this wonderful customer journey of getting to their whatever they want to execute on sooner. I want their result to be sooner and less expensive because I want them to have a great experience, and I want to create a halo effect. I talk about halos and horns in another video. I want them to have a halo effect, which is based on the law of primacy. So the first experience they have, if it's great and this journey that they're on is perfect journey, an awesome journey, customer journey, then everything that happens after that first thing that happens ends up becoming good too, because the first thing influences the rest of the things at the subconscious level. So I want to get into their subconscious that this is going to be a great experience, and I want it to be fast, quick, easy for them, less expensive, less complex, less resources, more success, more outcome sooner. So that's really why typically why I'm wanting to persuade them away from their longer, more complex idea or plan that they're coming up with. So INCB does this by I base it on two different principles. One is called homeostasis and the other is called the law of association. So by combining these two ideas together, I can persuade them a lot easier with this INCB. So I'll explain what the letters stand for here in a minute, but let me talk about homeostasis really quick. If you're not familiar with homeostasis, it's the idea of staying the same, of being in the state of being the same all the time, consistently the same. That's what homeostasis stands for. And a good example in the subconscious is regulating your body temperature. Your body temperature has to stay at a 98.6, exactly right in there, as close to that as possible, in order for you to survive and stay alive. So your subconscious has to continually monitor your body temperature and adjust to keep you in that state of sameness all the time. Okay. Now the second law of association, which is the second concept, is the idea in the subconscious. The subconscious is constantly receiving things that the consciousness lets into your subconscious. When it lets it in through your critical mind and it gets past the critical mind into your subconscious has to associate it somewhere with something you already know. So it takes the knowns and it takes this new unknown concept, associates it somewhere in your subconscious if your critical mind allows it in. And I've talked about the theory of mind, or how to hypnotize your customers. If you watch the video, how to hypnotize your customers, I talk about this concept of the critical mind. And so subconsciously, when these things come in, I have to associate it. So if I can use the law of association and the idea of this homeostasis and combine it together, I can more easily persuade my customer. Now, the way that I use homeostasis is I base it on the fact that your subconscious is trying to keep you safe by checking your temperature all the time, for example. And it's checking millions of other things too in order to make sure you're maintaining this regular state of normalcy, normal temperature, normal heart rate, normal way of thinking, normal strategy application, the way you apply your strategies to get things done. So think about it from a business perspective. In a business meeting, I have to get things done. I have to conduct this meeting a certain way. Everyone kind of knows what a normal meeting typically looks like. what a normal Zoom interface looks like when we have our cameras on and we're talking to. Everybody kind of knows what that is. That's because we've made these associations, and our subconscious is wanting to keep that the same all the time. So when there's something that's not the same, it gets the attention of the subconscious. Now, in order to be comfortable with all of that, I have to be safe first. So this idea of comfort is an idea that your subconscious kind of delegates to the consciousness, and the conscious mind then figures out and determines if you're comfortable with something or not. Now, it has to make sure you're safe first, so it checks with the subconscious, says, am I safe? Subconscious says, yes, you're good to go. Then the conscious mind says, okay, now am I comfortable with this thing or not, this idea, this topic? So there's this constant conscious mind, subconscious mind communication back and forth, determining if you're comfortable with something or not. And all of us know that, we want to be comfortable all the time if we can. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But think about it like this. You can only control your own comfort, and I can only control my comfort. Meaning, you're responsible for your comfort, and I'm responsible for my comfort, not the other way around. We can only control our own comfort. We really can't, make someone else comfortable or uncomfortable. It's up to them to decide if they're comfortable or uncomfortable with that situation. So we're all responsible for our own. But if I can associate something with that discomfort, then I can have a probability to hold some people accountable for my discomfort. So if I tell someone I'm not comfortable in a meeting, think about what happens. I say, I'm not comfortable with what you're proposing here. Think about what happens. What do they assume in the subconscious automatically? They start to realize, maybe is it something I did? They don't know yet, but they wonder, is it something that I said or I did that made them uncomfortable? So that's what the first part of INCB stands for, is I'm not comfortable. So I want to say this, comfortable, because I want to tell them I'm not able to have comfort right now. I'm not able to have comfort, not comfortable. So I say I'm not comfortable with what you're talking about, or I'm not comfortable right now. Like, you can just say it generically. I'm not comfortable at this moment. You can say it like that, at this moment. So that way their subconscious goes, at this moment, because that's all it knows is this moment. And it goes, okay, he or she's not comfortable. What's going on? Is it me? Like, that's what it's assuming, right? And then I do a law of association by using this word because. I use the word because. And I say because, and I give a reason. I provide a reason why I'm not comfortable. So this is a why. I'm not comfortable because of some reason. Now, it doesn't really even matter what the reason is, as long as you provide one that sounds like something that you believe yourself. If they believe that you believe it yourself, even if they don't agree with this reason, they will believe that you are telling the truth when you say you're not comfortable, and they'll listen up, and then they'll figure out, like, is it me that did that? Is it something else? Whatever. And it doesn't really even matter if they believe it's them or not. Ultimately, the subconscious is going to try to decide, how do we get back to comfort again? Just like it wants to get back to safety again. How do we get back to the same? Because when I say I'm not comfortable, I'm basically saying this meeting is now not like all the other meetings we've ever had. This meeting is now taking a turn. It's going left. It's twisting. I want to get it back straight again. It's curving. I want to get it back straight again. That's what the subconscious mind is. Everyone in the meeting is thinking that subconsciously when you say I'm not comfortable. Now, I've had some people tell me, Maverick, I would never, ever admit to someone that I'm not comfortable in the meeting. I would never say that. It looks weak. It doesn't show leadership. It doesn't show that I'm in control. But I challenge you to think about it differently, because it does show that you're in control, and everyone relates to comfort. Everybody at the higher level wants to be comfortable. So no one is going to think you're weak or not, you're not leading. In fact, they'll probably appreciate the fact that you're being honest and open to say that you're not comfortable and admitting that out loud. Because then everyone can come together to figure out, how do they make you comfortable again? How do they get you back to homostasis? Everyone wants to get back to homeostasis in the meeting. We want it to be the same as every other meeting. But when you say I'm not comfortable, suddenly it's not all the other meetings. It's different, and you're throwing them for a loop, and they want to get it back straight out of that loop, straight again. So I use the word because, and I give them the reason, and as long as it sounds reasonable, they're going to understand, even if they don't agree. And then you can also, if you want to add, you can also say, what would make me comfortable again would be XYZ. All right, again, right? Because we're always trying to stay in this loop of being comfortable and safe all the time. So by saying I could be comfortable again means I could get back to my mode of normalcy. I can get back to my 98.6 temperature. I can get back to feeling like this meeting is going exactly like all the other meetings. We're making progress and we're achieving goals and we're getting outcomes. We have next steps. Like all of that comes into play when you say, you know, this is what could get me back to it. So of course, the way I use it is they say, we'd like to do a 12-month implementation POC in real life production for 12 months. And I'm thinking, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that, but I might be comfortable with a 1 month. So I'll say, you know, I'm not comfortable with 12 months, just not comfortable with that. And usually I'll pause and let that set in a little bit to where I want them to like, what? You're not comfortable with 12? No, I'm not. But what would make me comfortable again, to feel comfortable again, is to do it on 1 month, small scope. We just do one thing instead of all these other things over 12 months. Do 1 month. That would be more, that'd be faster. We'd be able to know if we're on track, if we have everything aligned before we commit to these other things. That's going to take longer. And then eventually, maybe within 12 months, we get 10 things done instead of one thing done in 12 months. We get 10 things done if we do it my way, what I'm proposing. And therefore, I feel more comfortable doing it like this. I am not comfortable with this because this takes too long, too many resources, whatever. And I give them both those options to where now they are directly responsible for me being comfortable again when they agree with what I'm proposing. And if they insist and keep pushing on what they want, the law of association has them think subconsciously they're making me more uncomfortable when they talk about this. So of course they're gonna either choose my way or they're gonna negotiate with me for somewhere in the middle. Like we'll negotiate for somewhere in the middle that's half of what they want, half of what I want, to where it's win-win for both of us. And then we're both comfortable with the compromise that we end up agreeing on, which is better than the way that they had, which is going to take too long. And I'm getting closer to my goal of having that halo effect, using that law of primacy and doing it for their own good, my own good, and make sure we have a congruent outcome that we both agree on. This is a great method if you ever have to do this persuasion type thing. Remember, INCB, I am not comfortable because, and whatever the reason is, use this to your advantage when you need to persuade your customers. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Hypnosales show very soon. Thank you for watching. I know you find value in these videos now, didn't you? And if you, like me, are in a customer-facing role, I'm wondering if you want to watch another video now designed to help you get better at what you do every day. Or not. You don't have to watch another video if you don't want to.